Assalamu alaikum, story timers. How is everyone doing today? Inshallah, you guys are all having a lovely day, and inshallah, you missed story time as much as I did because I am so excited to come back with a whole new story time. Inshallah, you're going to love this story. And belated Eid Mubarak, everyone. I hope you guys have a very lovely Eid. And today, inshallah, we are going to be talking. Assalamu alaikum, story timers. How is everyone doing today? We are going to be talking all about the story of Prophet Saleh alayhi salam. So let's go ahead and get started. Does anyone know about Prophet Saleh? Have you heard the name Saleh before? Well, Prophet Saleh is actually very closely connected to some of the prophets we have already learned about. Does anybody remember the name Prophet Noor? What was Prophet Noor famous for? You may remember that Prophet Noor was actually the prophet whom Allah sent to his people the great big flood that destroyed all of the non-Muslim people because they refused to worship Allah and they made fun of Prophet Noor and the Muslims. And Prophet Noor came after Prophet Adam alayhi salam. And after Prophet Noor, many years later, the people once again started to go off of the right path and they started to worship other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And these people were known as the people of Thamud. They were called Thamud. Thamud were people who lived in the Hijaz Arabian area. They were known as the very early Arabs, just like Prophet Hud's people, if you remember Prophet Hud that we learned about earlier as well. So they were very closely related to Prophet Hud, and they were very powerful. They were a very powerful city people. They built large, amazing cities and buildings, but unfortunately, they were also known for building very big and bad idols, subhanallah. It was many years later, and they forgot the teachings of Prophet Noor. Many of them were the descendants of the people of Prophet Noor, and they no longer worshiped Allah. Instead, they started to worship the memories of their ancestors who actually once were followers of Prophet Noor. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent them Prophet Saleh. And Prophet Saleh was a good, honest man who used to be known as one of the honest people of Thamud. He was a very righteous and humble person, and he was always known to do the right thing. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Prophet Saleh to them to remind them to go back and worship Allah and not the idols or their ancestors. They used to build big stone buildings all around and temples where they could worship the idols. And they believed that they were more powerful than anything because of it. They were one of the first civilizations to create these stone buildings. And you can even see these buildings today in parts of the Arabian Peninsula. But unfortunately, they used their power and their strength for wrongdoing. Not only did they worship other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but they also used to cheat others, and they would lie and they would treat the poor people very badly. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Prophet Saleh to warn the people of Thamud of the dangers of what they would be doing and to bring them back to humility and to worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Prophet Saleh did just that. In front of their big temples, he would stand and show them that these idols were not worthy to be worshipped. They could not see or hear him, and their ancestors could do nothing for them now as they were dead. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was the one who could see and hear everything and should be the only one who should be prayed to. Inshallah, next week, we are going to find out how the people of Thamud responded to Prophet Saleh and his teachings. And we will find out about an amazing miracle that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala caused for Prophet Saleh. Inshallah. Until then, inshallah, I hope you guys enjoyed the story time, and let's just take a moment to look at these grand, amazing buildings that came from Prophet Saleh and the people of Thamud's time. Buildings we can still see today. As we can see, we can imagine that they were very amazing people just by seeing buildings that are over 100,000 years old. So they are very, very old. You see that? This is one example of the stone buildings, and these are others. But the people of Thamud are never going to expect what is about to happen and the miracle that Allah will bring to them to show them who has more power. I really hope you enjoyed today's introduction to the story of Prophet Saleh, and I hope you guys cannot wait, inshallah, to learn all more about what happens to Prophet Saleh and the people of Thamud. I can't wait to share it with you, and I hope you come right back here next week for the continuation of the amazing story time of Prophet Saleh, inshallah. Jazakallah khairan for joining me today. See you next time.